finally, let's cook another one up here. G2 and D+. As we jump on in, I'm more curious about some of those picks. You also enabled the topside conversation, Vedius, which has to be things like the Yone too, I want to throw in, from someone like Broken Blade. Blue side for G2, D+ on red. And straight away, the Caitlyn versus Def. That's respect.
That certainly is. Nico also going to be taken away from Caps. You have to imagine things like the Orianna and the Taliyah will make their way onto the ban table relatively soon. Jarvan going to be taken away from Canyon. So some of that early game playmaking going to be denied from him. The Kalista respect towards Hans Sama. When you think of Hans Sama, two champions that always come to mind, Draven and Kalista.
I want to see if the other one gets banned away. With the Nico off the side as well, something that we have seen in fruition so far in the World Championship. Will another jungler follow suit? A lot of Kai'Sa first picks have come through. The Xayah Rakan still on the table as well. Vedius, anything else you want to note that feels like it needs to be priority here for G2 as Lee Sin's also taken away?
I think Orianna, if it's up and available, they're just going to grab it for themselves.
Okay.
The question is, do D+ feel like it's a big enough threat? Do they think that they have an answer to it? And it seems like that they do. G2, will they prioritize this Orianna? Will they give Caps one of the best mid laners on the current patch?
I feel like on the other side, Showmaker, who started ramping up a bit towards regionals, is no fly to that champion either. Betty, she hit the nail on the head. Looks like that first pick going to be looked over in response of giving away maybe a stronger bot lane to Deft and Keller.
Well, bear in mind that the Taliyah is still open. We know that Canyon is very versatile when it comes to the jungle, but he's also someone that loves to invade, loves to power farm, someone that will often find ways to have scaling impact. But no, they're just going to answer with a high priority on the Alistar. We did see this a lot over in the LCK. They love their Alistar, but you got to be mindful because G2, Kog'Maw Braum, something that they love to pick into things like Alistar, gives them lots of range, a lot of scaling power, and something that they don't even have to prioritize right now. They may very well... oh no, they're going Draven!
Yes. You said it, there's 280 carries that you need to respect against Hans Sama, and one of them's left open, and G2 enter Worlds, so let's watch.
So at MSI, Gen.G did the same thing, and Gen.G made fun of them on the Draven. So, Deft into Hans Sama's Draven is going to be an exciting on the Maokai. An EU standard, something that we've loved to play throughout the season finals and summer. Going to be in the hands of Yikes, something he's been playing a huge amount of. So no stranger there.
I want to develop into how Yikes been as a player as we get into game, especially with a pick like this to open things up. On the other side though, do D+ go for jungle, or is it about cementing Def in the bottom side before Def gets banned out?
So Varus is a champion that has pretty good range, can play at distance when playing up against a Draven, but also ties in with the composition that they have with pretty solid poke and range, right? As Xayah and Varus playing around these neutral objectives can be very difficult to close the gap on. And I think G2 is going to be looking at something like a potential... Well, I wonder what direction they'll go, whether they want something like a Leon or if they want a hard, super aggressive bot lane 2 versus 2. Maybe Rakan for a little bit more team fight prowess if they're worried about how many engage options they have.
Would something like Braum be okay here, Vedius? Because remember, again, you've talked about it in different contexts, but with a lot of engage options on the side, a lot of lockdown already I see from D+. I feel like some exemplified support options might be the choice.
It depends if G2 feel that Maokai is enough by himself to start the fights. Bear in mind, depending on what direction they go in top lane, you can already see the Jax being banned away from D+. Thinking about what direction that D+ could be thinking, Renekton is of course still up and available. We know that Kana does love to play a number of carries, but when we look back at when he was making his way through the regional gauntlet, it was mainly Renekton, K'Sante, and Jax that we saw from him in the top lane. With K'Sante taken off the board and Jax, will they look to remove the Renekton as well? Or perhaps they're looking to leave that open so they can have a relatively safe line?
It's a great question. Again, Broken Blade could punish it as the Pyke against Vicky.
That's what I'm saying, man. The cooking. Like, there's so many random picks that you've always got to be aware of.
That's what makes it so hard to ban against him. You have to go in so many different directions at once, and that's why I was getting excited casting G2 coming into today, because again, I feel like they're my little LPL team over in Europe, as Rumble's also taken away, which has also been a strong pick rising up in the meta here.
So I wonder if G2 is kind of encouraging D+ to go for that Renekton pick. They're kind of saying, you know what, maybe you should go for this champion with Rumble taken off the board. There's not that many things that have that can be a good answer into it, but of course they have the Kled. They're ready for champions like that, and I think D+ is doing the smart thing here. Just lock in your jungle, get something that can give you a little bit of engage. Rell, someone that we haven't seen a huge amount in the jungle so far in this tournament, but still very prevalent, very strong I think is an easy way for D+ to have good engage and follow up when combined with the Alistar.
But it also means we've got top last pick here on red side, so Vedi is setting up Canna a little bit to deal with what G2 have to say. Now all cards are going to come onto the table. What does Broken Blade play?
It's a big question. Will it just be the Renekton? Will they play it safe? Brings into question then, will this be a Braum or will this be something that G2 want to go for a little bit more engage? I'm looking at the Rakan as an option, Renata as well. Very powerful lane, and they're going to lock it in.
All right, so the 2v2 strengthened up. We're already looking inquisitively down towards Hans Summer on the Draven, but now it's for that R5. What happens up in the top side? We know solo queue, there's been a lot of Quinn going around, but here at Worlds, haven't seen it so far. Other explosive matchups we've been looking to see, like the GP. I'm theory crafting here, Betty. I'm trying to throw some things out,
Jace
but it could be
Kana.
simple.
That's what it's looking like. Of course, we know that Kana is a very experienced Jace player throughout his history. It's been something that he's very happy to go back on, and you look at the composition from D+, range, poke, being obnoxious. It fits very nicely into their composition.
Yep.
G2 is very much about the bot side of the map. Don't be surprised to see G2 do a full clear bot side into early level 3 play from Yaiku. So Maokai this can decline.
Ask to fire them their best team handedly. Watching back against Fnatic, this team is legendary.
Oh yeah, I mean, when we look at the entire year, spring is where they kind of dropped the ball. They had a bit of a meta crisis. Caps in a bit of, this is all about the mind games. He sidesteps it. Deft, mentally broken. Obviously, just looking for a bit of poke there. Showmaker able to get a bit of damage down. Running the Halo Blades on the Azir, so looking to go for some of those early quick trades. Looking across some of the other summoner spells, looking to see if there's anything too crazy from either side. Press the attack on the Renekton as opposed to the typical Conqueror.
Yep.
Once again for those short trades. But overall, nothing too crazy. And you can see the comment on Def suggesting that he is going towards the poke. But early information gained from G2. As don't be surprised to see this early push. And we talked about early clear from Yike. Something that he's often done on the Maokai is look for that full clear in bot into then an early gank. G2 as a bot lane 2v2 will also try and early shove in this wave so they can get a very early bounce back to then put that extra pressure on. Whether or not they'll choose to do that in this game, we're yet to see. Yike, though, already level 2 looking for a gank bot.
You're on the nose, but he's straight away walking in, but there is a defensive ward from D+ in their river, so Canyon sees it coming. He's tried to redirect, but again, a ward from G2 to spot the same, and Canyon's already just forced off.
I mean, Hans Summer and Mickey already have level 2. They could use their pressure to offer some assistance. Yike actually stealing away the Gromp at level 2. Really leveraging the power of this level 2. Hans Summer can just keep them underneath their tower.
Wow.
Already getting a bit of chip damage. Caps not getting the best trades in the mid lane as Showmaker leverages that Hail of Blades.
And again, he's walking up for it too. At least getting the phase rush to get out of there, but Caps now at 1/4 of his HP.
So, Yike is able to steal away a camp. So a small advantage gain for him. Will now move over towards the Raptors. This will slow down Canyon just a little bit as Broken Blade looks to get a bit of a push in top. But the most important thing for G2 here is Yike has made it very difficult for Canyon to actually play around the bot side of the map.
Yep.
By already forcing him off his Gromp and knowing that he's going to be pathing towards the top side of the map, G2 have created a map state that they want, where all of the pressure is being thrown towards Broken Blade, and he can act as this weak side, while Hans Summer and Mickey can leverage their 2v2 strength to continue to gain advantage.
I love the stories we set up, you know, talking about G2 in their regular season, moving into playoffs, and moving into that final, of course, where the aggression you see by this team and the versatility in their playstyle is shown on the Rift in each and every game. Already there with a handshake bot, you can see Hans Summer continuing to push in, a CS lead building up, Deft and Kellen stuck under the turret, and a plate in under 3 minutes is kind of insanity.
Both mid laners are going to invest in early TP, get back to base, spend some of their money. Amptone picked up for Showmaker, along with the Dark Seal for Caps. But that pressure bot lane is unrelenting from Hans Summer and Mickey so far. The early Scuttle Crab picked up for Yike means that Canyon will likely path towards bot. Will get spotted out, and that's going to be an annoying thing for D+ to deal with those saplings as the game progresses. This is why I talk about D+ trying to get on those objectives first as well, because when you're trying to face check into all of these saplings, when you're trying to get onto the objective, the amount of zone control they have, you're trying to walk through a choke point against a Maokai and a Renata, it's going to be very difficult for D+ if they are late to those objectives.
And if you don't pay the respect, then you get punished, right? Orianna, Renekton on top. I feel like there's a lot of tools, as you're talking about in draft, where even when it gets to the 5v5s, G2 can play that versatility again to repeat the point. Canyon at least getting the reverse scuttle on the bottom side after getting spot out on top. But apart from that, CS rather even as we go for first back through jungle. And just kind of optimize to see how bot will be played out and if there's anything that D+ can do to mitigate that loss so far.
Broken Blade really needs to grab this wave. Typically, you'd be looking at a potential dive here, but Canyon already going back to base. Not quite level 4 yet. Is a little bit behind. Broken Blade trying to do what he can to catch, but this is not an easy matchup for him.
Cannon's run out of mana a bit there. Broken Blade can get a bit of retribution holding out for now, but that's another CS lead to talk about up in the top side. So it is balanced out across the map. No gold lead to speak of here at 5 minutes, but as we go back to clearing, it's still important to know that Cannon's not the best top laner we talked about from the LCK, right? He's not the big outstart, a standout, I should say. I feel like Broken Blade is, though. On the other side in EU, Broken Blade has been widely aggressive. Fun to watch, to say that again. And, you know, Cannon showing up here to start off their Swiss tournament.
Yeah, and it's pretty big. It's funny that you talk about that because in this game, like, they've pretty much just left him to the wolves.
Yeah.
They've said, you know what, you do your best.
Sorry, bud.
But we know that you're going to get counterpicked. Our whole goal in draft is to play towards the bot side of the map, and Deft is no stranger to having pressure thrown on towards him. But we'll see how well he weathers the storm. So far, his farm has been spectacular.
Yep.
He's doing a great job, even though there is constant abuse underneath this tower. Alistar in the early levels, especially against a Renata, is not an easy lane for them to play, but credit to them. Deft and Kellen having a fantastic laning phase for the time being. And overall, nothing too crazy. So the gold remains even. We're 6 minutes in, and we're going to be looking at those potential early dragons, early heralds. Like, this could be a good opportunity for G2 to go for that early dragon, and just as I say, they can start that one off.
So we're handshaking, right? We're expecting D+ to be hitting up Herald soon, Vedius, because I feel like, you know, with topside pressure that we've seen with a good lane, it seems like that just seems to be the deal, right?
Well, something you're likely going to see is a back soon from Hansama and Mickey, and then they'll likely send Mickey up to the contest, or they may even send Hansama up if they really want to make sure they get that
Hang on,
Herald.
flash away from Caps. Canyon not even needed. Showmaker just pops the ulti, and that's someone that's gone.
Showmaker looking for a play in mid. You heard the Dest talking about how it's been kind of sad to see the trajectory of Showmaker this year, how he's been kind of struggling, but I've only heard positive things for him coming into this tournament, and you can see that level of confidence. Looking for a play, working with this jungler to find an opportunity, getting that flash out of Caps, especially with the Herald looming in the near future.
Yep.
Definitely going to give D+ an opportunity and a player to look at for a potential pick.
Emperor's Divide, though, we'll mention, with that being down, Vedius not the shortest cooldown in the game.
Oh,
so
no.
with that ulti not being up, Shockwave in
Canyon.
comparison for Caps is Yike versus Canyon. Just going to beef up a little bit for the Scuttle Crab. Yike has Smite, so does Canyon, zoning him away. Good handshake, waiting for it. No, it's stolen. And a nice little trade, Canyon getting the better of him. And in fact, with that, CS lead as well in jungle that's come out of nowhere after that early game.
Introducing new Quaker Chewy Granola. Whole grains kids will love.
WeWork gives you the flexibility your team and business need most.
Nicely done there by Canyon. Very close to level 6. Should be able to get that after securing the Gromp. The problem for Yike is he spent a lot of time just hovering bot, making sure that either, well, looking for a gank or even just making sure that they can get that wave underneath the tower, which gave Canyon a huge opportunity to really do another full clear, catch up in experience. And Broken Blade also doing pretty well upside in the top side of the map. Herald now is alive. We can see that Draven's still pathing towards the bot side of the map. And it's Renata that you now need to keep your eyes on. We already saw Kellen looking for a bit of something as he moved towards mid and then contested that bot side scuttle. He's now in the bot lane 2v2, so Mickey's going to answer for the time. Flash!
Hang on, Broken Blade! You're insane! Flash burnt from both in the end, ignites down, Caps comes up and threatens topside. Now the Herald swing, let's just throw it back.
Very well played from Broken Blade. I was not expecting that, and I feel like Ghana wasn't either. Notice as well that Broken Blade recognized that he could get out of that. I think it was just about getting those flash trades to set up for a potential play later. He E'd in, but then the second that the stun finished, he E'd back out again.
Yep.
You know, he didn't commit too much, and he just traded summoner spells, trying to make the laning phase that bit easier, as Hans Summer now looks for a trade.
It's good onto Kellen, but once again, no cigar here for the finish up. But Heraldry started off the back of that, so Yike here on his Maokai, that mind you is flawless, of course, at the moment in 2023. 8-0, by the way, fun stat for you. Is pretty hot as Mickey setting up on a Death instant cleanse away, but will save his life, ignites down. Couple of autos too, Kellen with the flash away as well. And G2's bottom lane matches it. Oh my God! This team's pretty hot.
Hans Summer's Draven. At MSI, Gen.G left this champion up in their first game, and they made fun of Hans Summer. They said they didn't care, and Hans Summer has been furious about that ever since. He returns to the international stage, and he finds a 2v2 kill. First blood to Hans Summer.
And it's a big cash in as well. Look at the CS numbers there. Surely that item's coming on board, as that's huge for G2. When we talked about the win condition being bot in the early game, Fedius, it's online.
It's also just such a huge confidence play. Look at this, initiated by Mickey, forcing Deft back out of the fight. Kellen then does what he can to try and create space. But Hans Summer, he knows that with the number of stacks he has, that execute damage is more than enough. He has a level advantage, flash, auto ult, and they find themselves first blood. I wasn't keeping track. Did you see how much gold he got off the back of that shutdown?
I did not. I was too excited by the flash forward.
Unfortunately, I missed it, but that gold is going to propel him. Now, Kana, no flash.
Well, he's in a bit of trouble too. G2 looking to replicate across the map. Just waiting as here we go. The Ents go marching one by one, and Yike says hurrah. With Broken Blade on top as well, that's stun out. There's no flash from the trade before. Cannon's like, just make it stop. And G2 with another with a 2-0 start.
He does get himself another plate. He realizes if I'm going down, I may as well get a bit of gold to compensate. This will give an opportunity. Are they going to use the Herald top? Don't see why not. Typically, you'd expect them to keep funneling that gold towards Hans Summer, but instead they're saying, you know what? Let's just actually give more damage to Broken Blade. Already in the bot lane 2v2, he was able to get that cash in. You were struggling earlier, Broken Blade. You forced that flash out from him. And now look at this. The early game gold is ballooning in favor of G2. 2K is the advantage they now find themselves with.
It's huge. Top, bot, both winning out. CS lead there. Top is reciprocated with Broken Blade earlier on. Remember, we're talking about Kana having a lot of influence up there, doing well in the lane. No longer with 4 plates taken up topside. So really good to see that in their debut, G2 is replicating what they did in their domestic league, Vedius, up here against the LCK 4th seed.
They need to keep it up, though. We've seen a North American team and an LEC team get an early lead against these good teams and then not quite be able to convert it. And while you would expect G2 to be better at some of the lower seeded teams at being able to convert that, you've always got to keep that trepidation, you know? Especially a team like D+, you can't underestimate players like Canyon, like Showmaker, at being able to find those plays. Sure. They've done it so many times at international events, and this is the duo that so many are excited to see return. So let's see. We get closer to the 14-minute mark. The second dragon of the game is available. Showmaker does have pressure in mid, moving into the bot river, and Canyon has snuck his way into the enemy jungle.
No top laner TPs available. We've got Caps and Showmaker, if anything happens, to return to the scene of crime as Canyon's behind enemy lines. No vision there, wondering where he is. This crash down could come through, and Mickey's unaware, but they're back in time. Never mind, Canyon waits it out, and Hans Summer goes back for his Trinity Force.
Canyon showing great respect, and Caps on the roam here.
Wow. Most agile Orianna we've ever seen. Kana, his flash is back up and available, but he gets stunned up, not going to use it. He knows he's dead as Caps picks up his first kill. And G2 continuing to hold that top side.
Caps holding onto the shockwave in the event that Kana did flash so that he could bring him back in. Yike now getting engaged on.
It's just a crash down though. The Bramble Smash slows things down as Yike's okay, but look at top. First turret blood in under 14 minutes.
Not what I was expecting to happen. The TP as well for Caps can bring him back to mid so he can still catch this wave. D+ though know they have a window to start off this dragon. Caps hasn't had an opportunity to base, doesn't have his mythic. Do G2 still want to fight this? Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. With the ulti from Yike, it's there, but the Magnet Storm and the boot bag! Showmaker, playmaker! All you blinkers out there, stand down. It's a double over to death.
You can't underestimate the man in the jungle. Canyon finds a fantastic engage. G2, they tried to set up the play from the bot side of the map with the collapse coming from the mid lane. Canyon sees that opportunity, knows they have numbers advantage just by attacking the pincer, and they make it look clean. We're going to get a quick replay of this top one. An overall simple play. Kana chooses not to flash. The kill goes in favor of Caps. But look at this engage now. Again, look at the mini-map. Mickey and Caps are coming from the top side. Flash engage, the follow-up from Kellen. Draven doesn't get to move. The follow from Showmaker 2. Just clean execution there from the 4-man of D+.
And Deft, who was down in lane, who got cashed in earlier on, or rather Kellen did, now has gold, now has the Duskblade as well. And all of a sudden, DK's bottom lane, Vedius, is quite relevant again. As we look at the Mascard lane economy snapshot, it is looking good for G2 and gold, but the problem is with that one play, DK are now a threat again.
I mean, the gap didn't seem as big as it was, that's for sure.
That is true.
But you're now looking at like, okay, G2 recognize that D+ is still a team you can't afford to underestimate. The momentum was in your favor. And G2 do have a tendency, the way they lose domestically is they get cocky, you know? When they get that big lead, they sit there, they take risks. Sometimes they'll skip steps, and sometimes they need that reality check, and D+ just gave it to them.
So it's a good thing what just happened.
Well, from G2's perspective, yeah, but it's also a good thing from D+'s perspective.
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins. Okay, I'll take that in mind as first items are coming across the board. At the very least, for DK, getting some gold on Deft I mentioned before. Talked about that first item, getting into transition as well, as he was quite behind. So, see what G2 do now as they set themselves up on the second Herald of the game.
They'll likely use this to try and unlock mid lane. It can be quite difficult to siege against champions like Varus and Azir with the amount of wave clear and poke that they have at their disposal.
True.
But using this Herald, it gives you so much more agency to just break down that tower, especially with slightly shorter range AD carries with champions like the Draven, for example. They've now moved both mid laners down towards bot. Showmaker continues to have that pressure. Love how he's using the Hail of Blades to constantly trade onto Caps and then use that initial trade to then help clear out that wave and gain pressure. Kellen covering for his top side of the map, knowing that Herald just dropped. There's a potential risk there of Kana being in danger, but also covering in the event that Broken Blade oversteps.
I think smart map movements, we all know from the LCK historically, are still existent in the 4th seed here. As a quick note, Dragons up in 2 minutes, but right now, it seems like DK are covering their bases with some vision. Bot side, that's going to be cleared out by Mickey, who is once again moving as a 3-man unit, while DK are not willing to step up and get caught by this hard engage.
So G2 now bringing Broken Blade down into mid. They have numbers advantage, which makes it easier for them to siege onto this objective. You can see Caps joining the fray as well. Showmaker going to go back to base, has the TP.
All Chains of Corruption lands. Hans Summer out with the cleanse. Arrow not going to hit. That's a good Renata ulti though under the turret, but it won't translate. Caps setting up for the potential shockwave as they just walk away, and the Herald won't open up the map.
Love the response from D+. I think they did all the right things. They hold on to the tower. They don't really give Hans Summer an opportunity to hit onto it. That ultimate from Deft was exactly that, a zoning ultimate to try and force Hans Summer away. It connects, forces a big summoner spell out from him, and they keep that tower alive while Kana also gets the opportunity to push in that top wave. And you can see that CS discrepancy from earlier starting to build once again. So even though he is finding himself at 0 and 2, he's still not that irrelevant when it comes... Sorry, he's still relevant when it comes to the gold.
Go, yeah. I mean, considering that Kana had a bit of an early CS lead, I guess that 20 does translate in some regard. I want to also point out that, you know, you talked about Chains of Corruption before. That's pretty much back up. I mean, this is the cooldown reduction, or rather ability haste, for those new age people who aren't 40 years old anymore. How long ago was ability haste, or rather cooldown reduction?
I'm too old to remember.
Those are the good old days, though, right?
We start talking about the good old days, we'll start talking about Garen again, you know what I mean? You got to be careful.
We have done full circle, though,
exactly.
to be fair. I'm
That's
just waiting
true.
for an LPL team to pull it out, because that will happen. Actually, the Shy's playing later.
That's true, he is. You think he's one of those players?
I think he could be. He's definitely a Quinn
player. I was going to say, doesn't he want to play into the Garen?
Oh, yeah, he does.
Kana now.
One, though. You're right.
Does he know?
He does not. Ward down. Broken Blade going to try, but finish the job this time. Flash is available. Ulti with the Dominus. Broken Blade 2. Not going to pull any triggers, but again, showcasing his strength in the 1v1.
Yeah, just a quick trade there from Broken Blade. Nothing too crazy. The Dragon now spawning in 5 seconds. Broken Blade has TP along with Kana. Small level advantage for Broken Blade, but you imagine Kana should be able to make that one up relatively soon. G2 with fantastic vision control around it. You can see control wards littered around the bottom sides. it should be very difficult for DK to force their way in. And we talked about D Plus being first on the objective. There are now all the saplings in position that are going to be extra bit of poke coming out from the AP Maokai. And you know what? D Plus is just saying, we're fine, you can have this. We already took one Drake for you. We've slowed down the dragon stacking. And we don't need to fight Draven right now. Trinity Force, Collector, no, we're good.
No,
we're fine.
Not touching that with a 5-foot pole. Hans Summer as well, just waiting for that next cash in. Remember, he did die once, but still built up a lot of gold. 202 stacks, you can see. Thanks to our little screen there. I love it. Unfortunately, LPL, I don't get that, Vedius. I don't get,
Just
you know,
have to
the
guess.
Draven stacks.
Or
I have
you
to
wait.
guess. I have to wait till Observer gets there. Showmaker again, threatening it. But Caps holds onto the flash. That's a big brain move as teleport going in. G2 want to die this, and with Yike ulting in, Showmaker has nowhere to go. Broken Blade forces his flash, gets booped away, but there you go. Adoration for the crowd again. One more to hit the boot as Hans Summer's already cashed in, but he's looking for more money. Trying to roll the dice as Mickey X tries to get them out of there. Berserk for the time being. Running back in, G2 want to re-engage.
It's chaotic, but it's going in G2's favor. They'll find another kill, make it 2. 4 down on the side of D+. Deft is continuing to push in mid lane, but it started with Showmaker looking for that play onto Caps. He doesn't get Caps to flash. They played that game of chicken, and I was a bit question mark paying the TP from Broken, but he was in the river, and he was sitting there and he wanted, like, no, I got to get here for Caps. I got to make sure I can offer that assistance. And you'll see this initial play from Showmaker. He has Canyon waiting in the wings. Caps doesn't flash, then the TP comes through, but the rest of G2 are there to very quickly follow.
I love the patience here, Vedius, as well, right? Like, again, G2 forcing everything in that out, then launching on top. And Hans Summer didn't cash in just once in that play. Cashed in twice. Draven with 3 items out of this replay, I feel like it's the reality that DK are going to have to go against.
It looked like a good response from DK initially, but then the moment Broken Blade flashes in and Hans Summer picks up another kill. What is that, 3 now for Hans Summer? 3, 1 and 1. The BF sword completed. G2 is looking strong. 5K is the gold lead all of a sudden. And again, question marks came into G2. How are they going to look coming into the World Championship? What form will they show us? Well, they're continuing their season playoffs form. They're continuing that level of dominance and aggression. Zero hesitation play style, and huge props to Broken Blade. Kind of the unsung hero, getting that flash from top lane, the way he's responding on the map. Great stuff from him in his debut game here at Worlds.
It's looking like a dub. I mean, win probability powered by AWS before, showing that G2 might have this in the bag. Now, of course, you're saying they've got to get it to the finish line, but massive gold lead now to 5K. The flash ball from Kellen doesn't work out. Re-engaged by Yike. The ends are out, and here's Broken Blade for the stun down. That might be a tanky Alistar, but out of the farmyard he goes. He becomes a Paddy again. Hans Summer runs forward, gets more money in the bank. This guy's interest rate is huge.
You need to invest in Hans Summer stocks right now because they are going up. G2 see this as an opportunity to start the Baron, but it's also a great opportunity for D+. Here we go, the Baron is kicked off.
Well, no ulti from Deft as they're stoned out by the whirling death over the wall. Kana can't do too much, and it all comes down to
Are they
Canyon.
going to flip this? Are they going to flip this?
Be very
Please
G2
don't
to do
flip it,
so.
G2.
You're saying please no, but in goes Canyon looking for it. The all-in, oh my God! They've set up DK to smack him down, and they get the Baron! Vedius said no, but DK say, oh yes! Yike running for his life. He's next to go down. And all of a sudden, the tables have turned.
A triple kill for Kana. Canyon with another fantastic engage. G2 throw that 5K lead away.
Oh no!
And now D+ have themselves a Baron. Oh no, Caps, he may have just thrown his life away. Can he get to safety?
Current still stands. He'll be okay for the time being, but Vedius, I shouldn't have said anything.
I saw it coming, man. I told you. I told you.
I thought I was safe because I'm not from EU. I could say those things, but I guess we're looking before the Baron, before it all went wrong.
It's, as the LCK casters would call it, the unique Europe Baron strategy. They get this initial pick onto Kellen, and they think with numbers advantage, they should be able to convert this into a fight, which is what they do. They try to be patient, but look at this engage. Canyon soaks her onto 3. Kana comes in. Showmaker completely safe on the backline. The 3 of them, Canyon, Showmaker, and Kana, just tear G2 apart. With Hans Summer dead, he's where all the gold is right now. And it's a clean team fight win. It's a Baron secure for D+. And now they're the ones knocking on towards the base of G2.
Let us begin the Red Bull Baron power play with a poke comp. Vedius, you set this up in draft. This comp has range. And what do we know about poke comps in League of Legends? When they have Baron, when they have priority and longer lanes, it is a nightmare to play against.
I mean, they're going to have to find ways to get good flanks. They're going to rely on these objectives to find good fights. They want to contest the Ocean Dragon. Here we are. D+ will start this one off. Broken Blade has gained access into the river. Yike has the ultimate available.
All right, as it starts off, it's real slow here is G2 awaiting on Hans Summer to get in position. He's got both summoners available, I believe, at Cleanse almost up, however. The G2 are getting poked out. This is brutal. It's now Deft and Kana who are just so painful to deal with at the moment. Dragon going to reset, at least giving them a bit more time, but time is so good for DK.
Look at Canyon finding a flank once again.
Broken Blade looking to zone him out. There's the poke again. Hits three. He jumps in. Canyon flush for that. Won't get the steal and won't get over the wall. A bit of an oopsie as Yike's ult sets them away.
Canyon definitely fails his engage there. Puts G2 in a position to secure the Ocean Soul. And they've also been able to waste a lot of time. The Baron's going to disappear. But ultimately, it's brought D+ back into this game very comfortably. 2 items, 3 items being completed across the board.
Oh, G2.
I mean, I'm not sure what they believe they can find here. You can see that bot wave is in a very awkward spot. Caps is going to try and push that one out. Kana, though, is becoming lethal. Look at these Jace items. This poke, we already saw it in the last Dragon fight. It's only going to get stronger from here.
Yeah, the Impaler came out of nowhere here for the 3rd item. Sorry, Sorelda's Grudge. I'm also living in the past. Remember Atma's
Yes,
Impaler?
I do remember
That
Atma's
is not that
That's
item.
Very old school.
Yeah.
It'll be building Warmogs next if that was that.
Let's go for it. But the point is, Kana is 3 items strong, as you highlighted. Didn't even spend the time to upgrade the boots. That man is raw damage. And Broken Blade, who was once ahead of the curve, is now behind once again. G2 still up in gold, and as you said, the position of the Ocean Soul is great. But I'm kind of curious as to how these picks come through. These longer lanes, look at the vision control that's set up across the map. DK see them coming from a mile away.
Yeah, I will say that Azir and Jace just have a much easier time in these side lanes, right? Very safe in being able to push these waves out. Have plenty of tools to get away to safety. Also, Jace in a 1v1 should feel pretty confident against a lot of what G2 have drafted. He's getting very close to level 16. He pretty much has a full level over Broken Blade. And you look at the gold, like Hans Summer does lead, but in terms of everyone else, D+ have been able to very quickly catch up. 3rd item now being worked on by Showmaker, same for Deft. Death Cap, though, is finished for Caps.
It is.
But it means it will delay his 3rd item by quite a while, because that is a very expensive 2nd item.
It is indeed, but the power with the Dark Steel stacks as well is going to be quite relevant in this next fight. Baron up in a minute 30, that's what we'll look towards. That Ocean Soul in 3. So for now, getting set up, again, continuing that vision feels like what we have to focus on. And while we are talking about items, I just kind of want to highlight, while Def got those picks before, not relevant, is it? No, it's not, just in case G2 decide to pull the trigger. But I will come back, Vedius, because 3 items on Draven. Hey, this guy is still big. I think Hans Summer can't be overlooked, even as we get to this point in the game, that Draven can still one-shot if he's set up on some of those visible carries.
Well, against range, it's just the question of can he
how.
actually deal the damage, right?
Fair.
Can he get close enough to hit the targets? Because this was the biggest concern of G2's composition. You prioritize that Draven. You got to remember, Deft is a Draven player himself. He's very familiar with how to play into, or the struggles rather, of what Draven can run into. And they're looking to take advantage of that. Great range on their side. They still hold on to this mid-tier 1. And G2's aggression has been dramatically slowed down. Now only a 1k, 1.3k gold difference.
Yep.
Baron spawning in 25 seconds. It is G2 that initially have vision around that objective. But D+ in a much better position to contest than earlier.
Insane that mid turret on that note is still up at 28 minutes in the game. I mean, DK holding map control still as they push out mid. In 10 seconds until we get towards the Purple Worm up in that top side.
Look at what they're doing now, keeping the push in mid to make it easier to control that topside river, get that vision control. The poke continues to chip away. Deft, can he land it? Not this time, but still. The pressure is on G2 now to sidestep this poke, make sure that the Baron isn't being started off, and that they can still contest this river.
DK waiting for this next one, excuse me. feels like, again, the times might sync up, but there's the poke landing onto Mickey, who tries to get that handshake out. But now Azir, Sun Turret's out, Caps gets hit by a shock blast. The trigger tries to be pulled, Canyon just walks up, and G2 walk back. It's this to and fro here from what seemed like such a successful game that is just now constant pressure that Death alone can exert with a turret up.
Yep. D+ are using their range fantastically, and they're going to start this one off. Showmaker on the Azir will melt through this. They don't have access to the Baron right now. G2 have chosen to reset. They don't have any vision.
Yikes,
this
the
is
only
gone.
one nearby. It's just gone, Betty.
It's gone.
It's just gone. It's a blind Baron. G2 had an idea, but not in the position to do anything about it. Instead, we have to put the hopes there for 25 seconds of this Dragon Soul.
So now it's a question of, can G2 find a good fight against D+? The Dragon will be the next point of contention. And if it falls in favor of D+, they will use their range, they will use their Baron to begin the siege against G2. And we talked about how they don't have the greatest engaged tools. With Renata, you ideally want to control space and find opportunities. Kellen, he should be able to spot this flank out.
Yeah, Broken Blade, the lens is there, and away he walks. Maybe the wrong target here as the Dragon now spawns. All G2 need is something to stop this Red Bull Baron power play.
But look at the levels as well. Like, you know, Yike's not even level 13 yet. He needs one more creeper. He needs a bit of experience to get that level up. Caps a full level down against Showmaker. Broken Blade, 2 levels down, close to level 16.
True.
The flank, though, coming in from Broken Blade.
And look who's there. It's Deft by himself. Dominus now pop looking for Deft, and to stun him up, he cleanses the way, but Broken Blade has brought the Armada to him, flashes away. He might have done his job as he goes golden, but he should be dying here, but Slice and Dice, he's out of there. But hang on, he needs the reset, and he can't find it. However, now with the Dragon up and the Renata ulti out, it might be okay as G2 bring it to a 50-50 and win it out. Ocean Soul there, as Yike, some reason, flashes upward, but G2 have a permanent buff in this game as there is also a grave labeled out for Mickey as he drops down again.
That's 3 members dead, though, and D+ have all 5 members alive with the Baron buff still for another 1 minute and 20 seconds. There's no reason why they shouldn't look to try and siege right now. Yes, G2 do get the soul. They can buy themselves a little bit more time, but I feel like D+, I'm a little surprised that they chose to go and catch that bot wave. I really thought they could have done some serious damage to the base of G2, but instead they're looking to catch those waves. Crucially, in that last fight, Hans Sama's ultimate went wide.
Yep.
I think he expected the flash out from Deft, but look at this, great damage comes from Broken Blade initially. But look at the ultimate here from Hans. He's expecting that flash, but Deft's holding his ground. He flashes upwards while the rest of D+ come to the assistance of Broken Blade. The snipe then connects. And G2, while they do get the Drake, D+ return in kind by getting themselves 3 kills.
And now might continue on as Caps is caught out between his 2. Turret Shockwave's there, but it's Blade. There's the Magnet Storm. Chains the corruption. The Shockwave eventually comes through to correct myself as Caps flashes. No! Deft with the timing's huge. Kellen gets him out of position. I'm not sure Deft should have died, but it becomes a 1-for-1.
Impressive play there by Caps. In a 4 versus 1, he's able to trade Deft for his own life. It should have just been him going down there, but he makes it work somehow. Are they looking for the TP flank? Yes, they are.
Well, again, if they can win this, G2 might be able to flip things again as Yike sends out the ulti. Dominus from Broken Blade on the side. Canyon caught on the wing here. Showmaker puts up his turret, but it won't save Canyon's life. He's buying a bit of time, and Showmaker starts ordering away, but remember they have Ocean Soul. There's another cash in for Hans. Some of the flash from Broken Blade. It's a pulverize, but Kellen can't do a thing. Out goes Showmaker. In goes G2, and we've swung again.
It's chaos. G2 versus D+. This is what fans have wanted for so long. It's chaotic, it's all over the place. But G2, they found their window. This time D+ was spread apart. They had 2 members mid, 2 members bot. They tried to siege onto that bot tier 2, and Yike saw a window. He threw the ultimate down. But before we even got to that, Caps makes this miracle play happen.
Yeah.
He lands the shockwave onto Deft. The damage is insane. He stopwatches to buy time. Flash close, great reactions from Deft. But then he still gets the kill.
The ball sitting there waiting. Shutdown for shutdown as Vedius
flash close. Great reactions from Deft, but then he still gets the kill.
The ball sitting there waiting. Shutdown for shutdown as Vedius, this was the aftermath.
And then Yike with the ultimate. Kellen is zoned away by the Maokai ultimate. 2 versus 4 here. At this point, you just kind of have to count your losses. Kana should have been pushing in mid, but he comes back because he thinks maybe with Showmaker still alive, we can turn something here, but the flash in from Broken Blade. Kellen has taken too much damage. And the fight once again goes in favor of G2. As Mickey has been finding some nice bindings.
Yeah.
Handshake, I think the ability is called.
Yes, it is.
And it drags you back in. And G2 will definitely take that handshake.
I mean, Mickey, again, the leader of G2, it feels like when you talk about the successes this year, this split especially, that bot lane still coming up clutch. It was another cash in, by the way. I think 600 extra gold. There's 4 items on this Draven with a stopwatch. Hun Summer, he's been getting so much money this game. And every time it looks like G2 are out or they misstep, then they come back in, and Hun Summer is the one that benefits. So now with 3K again, as this game goes on, remember the Ocean Soul in their back pocket. We also look towards the next Baron, the Elder that comes up in 2 minutes. We're going in late territory. Yike flashes in for a twisted advance. Now pops the ulti, but where's that going, bruh? Not too sure as G2 get poked down from range, and Yike hit me with that ulti.
They get the flash out from Kana, but it costs Mickey and Yikes.
Hang
Flash,
on.
Broken Blade now in danger. He's trying to escape, but I don't think he can get
But
very
he has
far.
Ocean Soul. It depends. Can anyone help him out? The biggest question there is they all commit. He's going to be going into GA, though, for the time being. G2 say, no, you're too far away. The Hun Summer ulti giving leverage, but he gets out on his own. And DK pull back for now after pulling out the GA.
The Shojin working wonders there for Broken Blade, giving him so much mobility on the E. Chaos. It is absolutely chaos. There are good things and there are some really bad things from both sides, but it is delivering
Well
in
said.
some super entertaining league. Yike will begin the Baron. G2, for the love of God, don't let this one go.
It's going to flip again, isn't it? Well, maybe if DK aren't there, it won't be a flip. As Yike sticks on it, Baron's going to go down this time. No harm, no foul as Caps gets poked in. Showmaker teleported in for this play, but G2 still hovering around looking for a pick themselves.
D+.
They just got to get out there. It feels there's the poke coming through. Nailed down in the corner as well. Cap zones him out. Chains of Corruption doesn't connect again. Yike's ulti to zone out has been fantastic as G2 are heading the wrong way.
They're being corralled into the base of D+, but they have the Baron buff. They can get away to safety. If we'd gone back 10 minutes, I could tell you it was the same goal difference. It was G2 in this position. Oh my word. Hysterics,
How's your
30
heart?
seconds until the Elder Dragon. It's going to come down to that.
Yep.
One more fight to determine the outcome of this game. Whew.
And I'm not sold either way on who wins this,
Oh,
Betty.
neither am I. It really could go either way.
So let's quickly clarify. Poking out for DK, is it still as relevant with Ocean Soul? Or are we just going to have to see them find a beautiful pick? Maybe it'll answer for me as Canyon zones off. Broken Blade first in line though. The charge continues on in as G2 look to make their way in with Elder now spawning.
The poke is doing what it can, but you make a great point about the Ocean Soul. The regeneration is coming up clutch for G2. The Elder is alive. Look at that mid wave though for D+.
Yep.
Pushing into the mid. TP is not available for Showmaker or Kana, but Kana could cook. Especially with the Dragon not being started yet. Showmaker trying to leverage his range. That TP flank!
Oh, it's a big one as well. That will be onto Showmaker. He's got the flash and ulti available though, so it'll be hard to find the pick as Yike sets up with an Aegis Grasp. Sets him into position. Broken Blade runs in with the Magnet Storm. Zones him out as Kellen looks for a flank angle and Canyon flashes out. Now, G2 have separated DK away from this Elder Dragon.
E+ is very scattered right now. Canyon has no flash available to him. But again, they're still very hesitant to start this Elder
They
off.
are. Mickey wants the handshake from behind. There's Caps on top as well. Kellen gets poked out.
But that should be the go signal to at the very least start a fight.
Yep.
Kellen losing all of his HP. Didn't use the ultimate yet. Mickey!
That's a big ulti as well. They've got to get away from it. Canyon the only one hit and enough space is drawn.
Here we go. It's being started.
But as you said, Kellen's still too low. The handshake zoning out, the poke coming through. G2 aren't letting them walk in, but Kana has an influence from the top side.
Look at the lifesteal from Hun Summer though.
Well, hang on, Kellen's just walking into danger though. Hun Summer cashes in. Kellen is meat to the slaughter again as that whirling death hurts. And thank you, says G2, for giving us the Elder Dragon.
They weather the storm from D+. They're able to mitigate the poke. Kellen with his low HP still tries to find a flank. He gives up his life. and Hansama now leading the charge. Elder Dragon G2, Baron buffed up, 5 more seconds. Will they finally break into the base?
Well, anyone's guess here as the Baron, the Red Bull Baron power play is 4,500 with G2 almost moving to 10,000 themselves. There goes the inhibitor. G2 thinking about the push and using that Elder timer, but they pull off for now. The game will go a little bit longer to see if they can get a more solid fight.
Whew. Wow.
What up here?
The crazy thing is, I still see a way in which D+ can turn this around. This game is far from over. Obviously, G2 in a much more commanding position with the Elder, with the gold lead that they have. And a big...
Ooh. Almost.
I was going to say, a big shout out to Caps. He's the only player that this game that didn't receive any support. No roams into the mid lane from either support or jungle. He's kind of been roaming himself, looking for opportunities. When he was getting collapsed on bot, he was still able to turn it into 1-for-1. And in team fights, he's been so patient as well, making sure that he's in the right position to land those crucial ultimates. He's really stepping up here in game 1. But let's see if G2 can finally close this out, because Hysterics, until the Nexus falls, I won't believe that G2 have won.
Yeah, we ain't cursing it again, that's for sure. On your note about Caps, by the way, I mean, the reason that they got Elder was Caps, you know, onto Kellen, that poke damage that came through. So significant. And coming in clutch, I've always wanted to cast Claps. I'm glad it's not the other one. You know, I know there's been some confusion through the year. That's a sapling, ladies and gentlemen. Bit of AP coming through from Yike.
That is a flat 50%.
That's been burning for 10 years. Stop it. How much longer must he suffer? Well, Yike makes sure it's a little bit longer to send him to the base as G2 off that. Say there's a free rotation to the top side.
20 seconds till the Elder disappears. Then the Baron is alive in a minute's time.
The third Baron.
G2, the third Baron.
Or is it the fourth?
It's the fourth Baron.
I can't count. But with the last tick of the Elder, once more, Yike sends out Nature. The Ents of the Forest don't find their mark, but at least it zones out for a second inhibitor, so the base is in complete tatters by DK.
I am very jet-lagged, and this game is only making me more tired, Hysterics.
Oh, really?
At first, I thought the first Baron play was just me delusional, you know?
What am I seeing?
But now, I am very much awake.
So I don't know if I trust the 4. You said there's been 4.
There is.
Are you sure? Or am I the one who's delusional?
I'm delusional.
I don't know.
There was the one that got stolen.
Yep.
Then D+ took one for free.
Oh, yep.
Then G2 got one for free.
And,
now this is the 4th one.
You're right. Wow. I'm being outclassed by someone with jet lag. And I came from Australia. It's like 2 hours away. Over the wall, Mickey might be caught out. Hang on a minute, this Renata separated, but it might be okay. Magnet Storm out, but that Renata ulti is insane. Running forward as Broken Blade to zone out as DK is still looking for that clutch factor, but Hansama won't let Kellen anywhere near. Go back to the farm. G2 zoning them out continuously, and they might have it, Vedius. They might just with the shockwave, bringing back the playmaker. Hansama getting all the money, but Caps is getting my heart.
MVP Mickey. He sees the angle, the choke point. Broken Blade looks into the eyes of the reigning world champion and says, today is not your day. He'll force him into the G8 and then looking for the Nexus.
The first seed from the LEC holds on to their namesake. It was back and forth. It was a little bit messy, but hey, G2, they're versatile, they're volatile, and they're starting 1-0 in the Swiss stage against the LCK4.
What a crazy game.
That's fine.
Meet your next pillow. Why do we make our pillow?
Poppy.
Never mind, it's just Poppy straight out of the bad.
Of course, they can still flex this, right? They can flex it into top lane and jungle. There is the rarity of it going into support.
For the pick'ems.
For the
For the pick'ems.
For the pick'ems. Let's see, how will NRG respond? They could just grab themselves the Kai'Sa for FBI if they want to. Something that he's very experienced on, something very comfortable. It's proven to be a very strong champion on the current meta. But do they want to prioritize that AD carry? No, instead it will be Alistar. 3 games in a row now we've seen that Alistar be super prioritized, typically from the LCK teams, but Ignar saying, nope, I want engaged support. I always associate him with Rakan, but maybe into the Poppy, he's not as excited about that prospect.
Maybe not. I mean, today, again, it's just been coming out left, right, and center as the priority pick. NRG options in the bottom side. Didn't think Kai'Sa last game, but we're going to miss it for a little bit longer as the potential flex here for the Taliyah gets locked in for NRG.
Definitely a potential flex. Glad you brought that up because Palafox no stranger to the Taliyah in the mid lane. More than happy to play that. And so both sides holding their cards close to their chest. But will it be the Rumble for the Shy?
Oh, I bet you it will be. This guy's been playing it non-stop. I mean, Weibo, again, with such a volatile top laner, he just goes, you know what? I'm going to pick Rumble blind.
He's going to blind it.
Instead of the K'Sante.
I mean, he's testing Dokla here. He's saying, what have you got? You know, he is so confident in his Rumble. Look at the damage that Weibo have for themselves right now. Potential poke, depending on the build that Kai'Sa wants to go.
Yep.
Potential dive, depending on the build that Kai'Sa wants to go. A lot of options still here for Weibo, and NRG looking to answer with some aggression of their own.
Okay, about the 2v2 here. I mean, FBI has been one of the top tier NA 80 carries. And especially with the transition into this roster that used to be CLG, it's nice to see them putting presence on him when Weibo historically have been about the mid lane. We'll talk more about that in game, but Vedius, I want to get into that brain of yours, if that's okay. If you'll let me.
Yeah.
What are we looking at now? What's the priority? No support right now for Weibo unless that becomes a flex.
Well, I mean, you praise my brain, but look at you predicting immediately the support bands coming out from the side of NRG. Weibo, they're likely going to be pinching some top laners. They may very well look to ban the Jace themselves.
Okay.
Something that we saw a lot from Dokla was things like the Jax in the finals, things like the Renekton as well, something that he's very comfortable on. Typically, I would have expected them to leave the Renekton open because I've seen so many Rumbles just dominate in that 1v1 matchup, and if the Shy is feeling confident, I don't see why they wouldn't, but I guess they're not taking the risk. Instead, they'll choose to leave that up. The question is, will NRG look to just ban away another support? They could look to get rid of the Rakan themselves. Maybe they'd be concerned about something like a Braum. We haven't really seen any Braum so far at this tournament, so I'd be surprised if they did choose to ban it away. Blitzcrank taken away from Crisp.
It's so funny because Crisp has been memed about in this last split in regionals. Hasn't been the best on Hook champions recently, even though historically fans of FPX, the 2019 champions, remember this guy's Thresh, this guy's Nautilus were insane. So at least the respect's given over by NRG, but still, we'll see where Crisp goes. Things like the Rakan are still up and available. K'Sante also taken away.
Okay.
I guess another surprise when you consider that Rumble has been fine into the matchup historically.
So, will Dokla look to pick something like the Jace? And where is this Taliyah going to go? Will it be put into the mid lane? Are they going to keep it in the jungle? What direction are they thinking about here? Of course, they do have a lot of options.
You said it.
It's being hovered. And they're going to lock it in. All right, so Dokla going to be going for what I would say is a favorable lane for the Jace, but you are going into the Shy's Rumble.
Yep.
A man who is incredibly confident on that pick, has a very long history on it, and it's going to be no easy feat to come out on top.
I mean, this guy doesn't hard win the lane, but out CS's, outclasses a lot of the time. Someone you can't doubt, as this is a classic for Crisp. I mean, if we're talking away from Hook champions, engage here with, I said it before, Xiaohu on Azir has been exceptional. A real engage tool, more so than I feel like any other Azir in the world. And that just rounds out Weibo to a T.
I was going to say, when I look at this Weibo draft, this looks like comfort to me across the board. A lot of champions that a lot of these players are very familiar with. Even when I saw that Alistar, I was thinking to myself, would he just do a Leona here? We've seen him do it before. And it just so much great engage on the side of Weibo. Great backline access as well. Very powerful team fighting.
Wait.
Are they actually going to put the Jace in mid and then have Ornn go into the Shy's Rumble?
Is that too dangerous, Vedius? I need to We'll obviously wait for the final
You
swap.
tell me, man, is that too dangerous?
What do you think I'm going to say?
I think the answer's yes.
Yeah, I think it is indeed. But hey, Big Dokes, I mean, hearing Kobe's energy on the desk about this man, I can feel it. Might be an LPL caster, but Big Dokes lives in my heart now. And look, for NRG, walk me through a little bit, because I see very volatile lanes. I also see a bit of scaling added into the mix. I feel like there's multiple pairings here that need to be addressed.
Well, there is a little bit of poke on their draft when you always have Talia and Jace.
Okay.
There's going to be a presence of, when setting up around these objectives, there's going to be a lot of effective chip damage, but really they spike really hard on one item. You look, so you'll have to...
Back to Teed, Ricard, bot, that's a big...
Sometimes it takes a different approach to imagine your future differently.
Get into this one. Surely the explosions come...
Said it, NRG in,
Yeah.
but they take fights with these teams factor, because that's how... And
With NRG, Sticks do that with Yawn here in this game. And I'm excited to see how this draft works out for NRG. As you said, bit of pace to add in. As ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a reminder now. Just remember that you can log into your right account on lollysports.com and watch Worlds live to earn exclusive Worlds emotes and icons for the entire event.
there you can. Free stuff. Why
Hang
wouldn't
on.
you?
Do that right now. Go
Go
on.
do it.
Go on.
Off you go.
You won't. Yeah, you
I mean,
will.
nothing's happened yet. No one's dead, so you got time.
Were you surprised, eh?
A little.
Oh, it should have been over by now.
Obviously, you can see the runes on your screen. Conqueror for the Azir, for Xiaohu. We did see the Halo Blades coming out from Showmaker earlier, so a bit of a different approach. Phase Rush on the Poppy. Phase Rush on the Jace as well. Nothing too crazy. And already Shy. The Shy.
How dare you?
I'm sorry, the. My bad. I'm in the presence of greatness, as you and someone else I know would say.
It's crazy. Do you think he's outdone Shy? You know, the original Shy? I'd say yes, right?
You
The
know,
Shy is better than Shy? Or?
I'm old, I'm not that old. You know, that's what I'll say to that. I was around for those games, but I wasn't around to analyze them. So, you know, I'm going to pass on that question.
That's all right.
Now, early jungle pathing.
Oh,
Never
hang on.
mind.
It's an all-in, but the separation from Ignar is great. Light can't do any damage. FBI just takes a heavy trade.
Yeah, I mean, easy trade for Chris. Is he going to look for it again? Of
Yeah,
course
he is. Zenith Blade Ignite down. There's a cleanse away. Flash is there too. FBI has no summoners at 2 minutes in the game.
Hi there, my name's Callista, and I'm an early game champion. And
Oh, he's emoting.
and Crisp says, hi, my name's Crisp, and I'm an early game champion. Doesn't matter what he's on, he's going to look for something. Level 2 now secured. Crisp taking a strong presence in the lane.
That's a stance, isn't it?
Keeping my eyes on Weiwei. Is he going to look for a dive here? No summoners on FBI. He's making his way into the river. He's moving into the bot side jungle, knowing that they have the pressure. And he'll find 0 camps to steal away, which could very well mean, hey, you know what? No jungler presence means that we can look for a dive.
Very true indeed. Sees it, information gathered, and this is what made WBG so scary in those regional finals versus EDG. They made plays this early on, and with FBI at half HP, with no summoners as well, Weiwei stacks him against a wall. I'm seeing deja vu. And Weibo bring in first blood at 3 minutes in. Ignar now in trouble as well. Weiwei waiting for those cooldowns. There's the flash matched out. Ignar latched onto. Second skin about to proc. He bops him in. Weiwei might be in trouble, but he shoves him back. And Light gets the kill. A 2-0 start.
Excellent play from Weibo. They were able to force the summoners out from FBI in the straight-up 2v2. And then the pathing from Weiwei meant that he could supplement that with 2 early game kills. 1.3k the gold lead already. Hysterics. And this bot lane is looking dire for NRG.
I mean, the Shy is zoning off the potential of a trade in Scuttle. Thank you, that's mine. So WBG get both sides of the map. It's now a 1,500 gold lead. And this is what we're talking about. The regional power of this team. The ramp up, they've become a quicker team, they've become a more aggressive team, and more successfully aggressive, Vedius, as this dive is the proof.
I mean, there's very little to break down here. Just a clean flash engage. Ignar does everything he can do to keep his AD carry alive. Unfortunately for him, Weiwei alone is enough to find that kill. Perhaps he should have considered flashing earlier, but frankly, I don't think the flash would have achieved anything. And just a nice play from Weiwei to walk away with 2 quick kills. Well played to Weibo. They're off to a fantastic start.
Respect from Ignar there. Like the little bop into the turret. Unfortunate about the cooldown that Weiwei was able to get out, but at least respect due there for trying to turn the play around, as Weiwei is now back in the bottom side, and this is, again, what we saw in regionals to add on. There's a bit of vision left over with Contracts trying to match a 3v3's potential. They're going to turn on for Contracts. Shove doesn't work, but against the wall it does. The bot back in. Chris teleports in that one. Ignar gets a double pulverize. Slight now runs on in for the damage. FBI out one way, Ignar the other. Summoners were burnt before, but at least like a matches. Xiaohu is now participating. He runs in without ulti. Ignar is slowed down, and Weibo are this deep this early on. Vedius, this is chaos.
I mean, it seems like a one-sided slaughter right now.
Constructed chaos.
I mean, things are falling apart very quickly for the NRG bot lane, and they need to find a way to stabilize because Weibo are running rampant on the map. 2K the gold lead now. First Dragon is available, but they're not going to start that one off just yet, as many members have gone back to base to spend some of their hard-earned gold.
I need to ask an earlier question, earlier than I'd normally ask. How do you stem the bleeding here this
God,
early on?
That's a great question. Well, the idea here is the Contracts is looking to relieve some of that pressure.
Right.
But the problem is Poppy is just so powerful in this early game, and Weiwei is showing you why. Not only is he so experienced on the champion, but it's a tough one, frankly. It is a very difficult thing to do. Typically, if this was a little later in the game, you could consider a lane swap, you know? When Weibo go for an early Dragon, you can then use your numbers topside to go for Herald. You can fund the Herald to get the gold back. But it's so early into the game, there's not a lot that can be done. And the fact that the jungler even came bot with a level advantage to try and stem the bleeding, and Weiwei turns it into another kill in favor of Weibo, it only just makes it worse.
When we saw the matchup versus EDG, I mean, again, it was that transition of pressure. Even add on in the LNG third match playoffs, or rather, let's get the wording right, ladies and gentlemen. The third seed qualifier match, got it in the end. It was about Weiwei transitioning to bot, which we didn't see during playoffs, during the regular season as much. A lot more about that top side, about setting up the Shy. And so again, I guess it's a flexibility, especially in a matchup like this, Vedius, where the Shy's confident, he's fine against the Ornn here. CS is even so far with the Wave pushing it.
Well, I was going to tell, when we spoke about Weibo coming into this tournament, you were kind of surprised in how they flipped their playstyle, right? Where they were playing so much towards this bot side of the map, and it was actually working very effectively for Weibo, especially with the consistency level that we actually saw from the Shy.
That consistency continues through here as Contract starts up the Dragon, but there's a control ward already there by Weibo, but Weiwei's on the wrong side of the map, so nice to see that NRG, there's a bit of balance of pressure here. However, Dokla in a bit of trouble. The Shy ready to overheat, and Dokla gets out of there, while the bottom side of the map is relieved somewhat, stopping any kind of objective bleed on top of what we've already got.
A small bit of reprieve for NRG. That is not a good trade for Dokla. He's taking a lot of damage. He's at threat of a dive here. Again, look at the minimap. See Weiwei making his way up. The pings have come down. Dokla needs to do what he can to thin this wave out ASAP to make it harder. But the jungler's not going to be there quite in time. Ward going to be dropped. And you look at this vision control over the top side of the map. Weibo doing a great job of just gaining information and trying to keep track of where Contracts is at all times.
And if Dokla gets forced out with the teleport down, it is danger zone for NRG on another side of the map. As Herald with this top pushed in is just going to start off quite easily. You can see, I mean, Contracts clearing up this top side feels like he's trying to mitigate any further play. Take some resources off the map so Weiwei's not just getting everything.
I mean, Weibo are playing this early game fantastically right now. The thing is, now that you've got that lead, you don't need to take any more gambles, or you don't need to take any more risk. Just control the map well. You can see Chris roaming up to mid to help get that pressure so that they can easily secure these objectives, maintain vision control. The resets can now come through, spend some of that gold. The Heralds can be used kind of wherever you want. You have so many options depending on what you're looking to do with it. And slowly but surely, this gold lead continues to balloon in favor of Weibo.
Equalizer down, Dokla just steps away, but it opens up the wave again. Vedius, those were valid points. You know, you don't have to do anything, but it's Weibo we're talking about.
Yeah.
They're not going to sit back and chill.
I mean, they're sitting back and chilling
For
right
how
now.
long, though?
For how long? Well, I mean, it depends if NRG can find an opportunity to force something. Our expectations were that NRG would come in and look to scrap, because that's what they did when they were in the LCS. But given how tragic things in the bot lane have gone. Saying that, Weiwei.
Oh, you set it up again, don't you? Zenith Blade, but the Fate's Call gets him out. FBI, does he want to re-engage into Chris? The answer is yes, but no level 6 on this Alistar. Means he ain't a meat shield, ulting in his light right into the fray. Ignar survives for now, a little bit burnt as NRG get away with their lives.
Okay, a little bit more confidence coming into the back of the NRG bot lane. 3 versus 2 once again. Contracts has his eyes on Weiwei.
The all's there. We get the wall rather. English not going well for me, but maybe for Ignar, the play can stem out as he tanks up. Weiwei chunked a little bit, trying to kite it out. There's some slow there from NRG. So close to getting that jungler with a shutdown, but he walks away.
Yeah, Contracts fumbles on the execution there, ends up knocking Crisp away.
Yeah.
It could have been a big opportunity, but it ends up falling short. And NRG kind of doing what they can to bounce back after what has been a very difficult early game. But this is Weibo's game right now. Oh no!
Ulti,
Oh
hang
no!
on, under turret!
Oh.
The Spring King returns later in the summer. Is now for Contracts. Hang on a minute, no way! He flashes away. Xiaohu doesn't burn his own. Come at me, he shouts, with the Herald going down as well.
Yeah,
That's so much gold.
Be rewarded with the plates after finding a solo kill onto Palafox. Xiaohu making a genius move of his own, finding that kill, and will be funneled so many plates. He's gonna get a third one. He's gonna get a third one. Xiaohu now out of control in the mid lane. Palafox is a level down. He's focused on clearing the wave, and Xiaohu is using his range to poke away at Palafox. But then the ultimate comes through. It's easy, it's clean. Palafox doesn't even flash. And then Contract's very close to losing his life as well.
Almost taken down with a flash down as well. Xiaohu holds onto his own. You said it yourself, Betty, as the plating was obliterated in the mid lane. And all of a sudden, we are close to 4,000. Let's do some proper math, ladies and gentlemen. Say 3.5 for now. But 11.5 minutes with Dragon coming up in a minute. Weibo are going to be accelerated into this first item. It's looking good for the 4th seed of the LPL. But more so, I think both these mid laners called each other geniuses. We got from the desk. Smarter today seems to be Xiaohu, at least so far.
I mean, I would also describe Xiaohu as the stabbier and the more ruthless in the mid lane so far. Looking to build that Leandri's flash.
There's a play. It's matched though. Crisp out with his summoner. However, this is getting collapsed on Weiwei. In the right place at the right time yet again. The Fate's Call though saves the day. Weibo still looking to contest. Hang on, Xiaohu's running in. He's got his flash available. No way! They went to Narnia and back again in a couple of minutes! Contracts is down. Weibo cannot be stopped. It's like they've got their own personal train.
They see a kill and they will go for it to the bitter end. No escape for Contracts. His flash was lost earlier. And another is given over.
Ulti, Palafox is sent packing. He's got his flash available though. He's running for the hills. Chris looking for the Zenith Blade. It's out of range. At least Palafox holds onto the summoner.
They are relentless right now. Dokla being chipped away at as well. Another plate secured for Light.
All 3 lanes, Vedius.
The entire map, Hysterics. This is the debut that you wanted, I imagine. JDG looking a little skeptical in the early game against BDS, but they did come back with some fantastic team fighting. Weibo looking dominant, but Palafox TP's in.
Well, Chris is out of mana, trying to zone out Xiaohu without an ulti. It's a good time as Dragon goes down, but Weibo are looking for the re-engage somehow. They don't have the resources to play with, and Ignar knows it, but his flash isn't up and available. What can they do as Xiaohu has to flash over the wall without a Sand Soldier to give him a high five?
Weiwei Poppy. What do you do against
Please
him?
ban it.
This man
Ban
is
it.
just, he's on fire right now. He's working so well with Crisp. This jungle support combo, like I don't think I've seen Weiwei top. You know, like there was one time where he kind of went there roughly, but look at this execution. Flash away from Crisp. Immediately Weiwei's like, I'm on the way, gang. Quickly there to CC Ignar into the wall. But does that stop them? No.
Look how far
If
they
anything,
go.
This is a team building exercise. They go in together, okay? Everyone land your crowd control. Come on, let's all kill him together. There we are. Morale now raised.
It's massive. First item for Light as well. Xiaohu can't be far off. He's got a recurve bow. He's optimized different ways, hence not having his first item yet.
Bit of a Build-A-Bear in the mid lane.
He is. He's putting it together. Lego day at school today. As, okay, thank you, MasterCard, for this late economy snapshot.
Yeah, that's a snapshot, all right. Huh. I mean,
That's
Chris
an
really
issue.
kind of, you know, dragging the team down a
That's
little bit.
it, man. 208, step it up.
Calls himself a world champion, am I right?
Not anymore. Look, the experience on this roster is huge. NRG we set up as well. You know, this is a team that's the first seed for a reason. But struggling here against the fourth seed ain't the biggest sign, but it is
Oh, the
Switch. The
Shy.
Shy flashes forward onto Dokla. It is matched, but he's overheating for the auto attacks. Hits once, hits twice, and Call the Forge God layers there, but he sits in the fire of Middle Earth. And the Shy, after burning that summoner, says, Dokla, go away.
Gonna force him to base. Maybe even force the TP out from him.
Maybe.
With the Herald starting, both top laners do have that as an option. But no ultimate from Dokla means that this is going to be a hard fight.
None for the Shy either, as Weiwei sends go away too, but Contracts avoids. Smite comes down, however, but Weibo need the eye. NRG trying to zone them out, look for the re-engage. Xiaohu on top of Ignar. And the Sand Soldiers just go, yeah.
Never underestimate Xiaohu's ability to find some way of engaging, whether it be small or large.
Told you. What can he do here? Emperor's Divide, Glide, oh, Contracts! Interrupts, matches a flash, they just need a kill! NRG just need a kill and they've got it. Palafox from downtown. And NRG are finally alive.
Finally, NRG gets something back. But Weibo are relentless with their pressure. They push down mid. They secure the tier 1. The Shy can't quite get that tier 1 in the bot lane, but even though NRG at the very least finds something, the map is still in control of Weibo.
They need a bit more, but I'm happy to be optimistic about this team, especially when Palafox, bit of a king getting the kill here, but meanwhile Dokla in a bit of trouble. That turret's gonna melt, that's non-existent. Light running in with his boys, and the Shy ready to cook. I've been loving the food here in Korea, so let's see what Dokla tastes like.
Juicy is what I believe Light said.
Yep.
300 gold picked up for him, the Shy. I've often been told that he's a generous god. He doesn't need the kill.
He doesn't.
He will give it to his AD carry.
Because he's the right word though, so well done. No, God, more like it.
Yeah, wait until we see Adam versus the Shy, okay? Then we can figure out.
Don't tempt me. I'm excited for that. The boys going head to head in the top side. And you know, that's what disappoints me about this, is that like Dokla, I think has that chat energy as well.
Oh, he
right?
does.
But the sad thing is that we didn't see it with the Ornn. We saw the Ornn picked into it, and the Shy already had the Rumble locked in by B2, B3.
Yeah, he did. You know, Dokla wanted to play, he wanted to be on the weak side. He wanted to give Contracts that agency to play through bot, but the bot lane 2v2, it was shut down at level 2, man.
Level 1, Betty.
Well, level 1, you can even go to say. Weiwei once again finding his way into the enemy jungle. Herald dropped. I'm sorry, you guys have probably made those Wei jokes to death.
Well, there's big Wei in the LPL. There's also single Wei, you know, RNG's Wei in the past. I'm just waiting for no Wei to come through as
oh, he's in EU.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, waiting for it to join the LPL. As Herald gets a double charge, mid is open. And NRG losing out by gold by the thousands every minute we go by. As it's an easy dragon setup right now for WBG as they move towards the objective.
Blue buff going to be transitioned over to Xiaohu. What else is there to say here? Weibo should look to pick up this dragon uncontested. I guess they're waiting for the Baron before they try and end this game. But it feels like that this is Weibo's to lose.
Yeah.
You just kind of look at how the comps work, and Weibo's is just so straightforward. You know, they do have a lot of range and poke, but they're not going to use it like that. This is all about diving. They're going to have Crisp engage. They're going to have Weiwei try and find the flank. The Rumble ultimate's going to come down. What am I saying? Xiaohu is going to E in, he's going to ult, and then the wombo combo. Using the ult, Weiwei will CC someone into it, and then the dive will follow up.
The Shy will flash auto overheated versus 3 people.
He will be chasing FBI, who is kiting him backwards. That's how this fight is going to play out.
You know what's crazy about this game is I think it's the first time in a while that people haven't set a tent up top for the Shy. You know, there's very few games I can say, even throughout this whole year, where people have not sent 2, 3 members up to deal with the Shy.
They didn't have a chance, mate.
But he had a free lane. I guess, yeah, the whole map's burning. And the Shy, of course, is saying this is fine because he's outside watching the fire. He doesn't have to care.
Weiwei has brought the hammer to bot lane.
Oh, yeah.
And he has just kept the pressure up. Baron, 30 seconds. Now, how confident are you in Weibo's Baron setup and secure? That confident, huh?
Sorry, ask me the question again.
How confident are you in Weibo's Baron setup and secure?
100%. 100%.
All right. It's a lot of confidence, Asterix.
Yeah, sorry.
Let's see. It's spawning in 10 seconds.
They're not the cleanest team. That's the problem. They can throw leads.
That's looking very clean so far.
It is. But I won't
But you're
say
just
anything.
waiting. You're
I
just
won't say anything. Yeah, that's right.
No spoilers.
I'm not a doubter. I think sometimes I'm just realistic.
If anything, I would say you're a realist.
I am a realist, yeah.
Facing a blue buff, bro.
How many years have you been casting the Shy?
Since 2019 spring, which was his best year, by the way, best
True.
split. That was an insane one alongside Rookie. Semi-finals at Worlds, remember, against FPXs. We'll pause on that. This is what's happening now. Look at the lines of scrimmage laid down, but the Shy's not dead. They don't have enough damage. Dokla knocks him up. They're trying, equalizer down. Maybe they do indeed. But Baron goes down because of him. So there's the trade as Palafox now the next target, flashes away to the skies to get him out of there. And that's what it costs to kill the Shy. Everything, the kitchen sink, the front door, all the new kitchenette, and the fridge, Vedius, for the cost of Baron.
The question is, for you as a the Shy follower, would you say that this is worth it? His life for a Baron? A meager Baron?
No, you know what I'd say?
What?
Impressive.
NRG, they're able to find that pick. They bring the kill score up to 2, but they still find themselves at a colossal deficit. Contracts. Really good idea here.
Yeah.
A good flash response from the Shy. And just great awareness. Like, Dokla used his W on the wave, thinking this play wasn't going to continue. But now Contracts, no flash.
The Shield of Daybreak lands. NRG are there to back up, but Christmas Leona taking numbers. See you later. Wei sends Ignar packing as the flash over to bring Contracts back on in. They used everything in the last play. Shahu gets one from FBI on the side as well, but as Contracts drops down, Shahu buys some time and sets up for kill number 2. Who's it going to be? Ignar. He's got his flash available, but a blast cone to help him out. As Weibo try to get some stuff done, well, at least Palafox is getting a trade, but what is the cost on the other side of the map? Wait, Wei's still here.
Wei knows that this jungle belongs to him. He's going to force NRG completely out of it. They're going to have to walk back to base as they group up top and push towards this tier 2. The Jace, after securing a mid-tier 1, getting a bit of gold back for NRG, will now recall as they find themselves with an 8k gold deficit. From start to finish, a clean performance from Weibo.
Yeah.
And Wei just being instrumental in how this team has just been dominating.
Well, as we look back at this, Chris takes so long to die, and it's a full commit after the play we saw before where NRG threw everything.
The hilarious thing is, look, he actually gets dragged back by the Fate's Call, so even though he gets yeeted off, maybe NRG can find a fight, but the positioning is just too awkward. Xiaohu, you've already talked so much about it. He sees a 3-man engage, he goes for it, forces the flash out from FBI, knowing that his team is right behind him.
Just toss, cuddle, and brush it off. Brush it off with Bounce Pet.
And unfortunately for NRG, they constantly find themselves on the back foot. Baron still 35 seconds left, Dragon spawning in 45. Weibo will use this pressure to secure their 3rd Dragon of the game.
Red Bull Baron power play at 3k for Weibo. They're already in a gold advantage, but it moves to 8,000 as spoken before. Thank you for that win probability powered by AWS.
It's looking pretty positive.
It looks almost 100%, but we know no game can be 100%. Okay, no game.
If anything, it looks like that towards the end it tapered down a little bit.
Ooh.
When the Shy died, the game knew.
They probably went down 50% or something. Well, it's going to take a lot more than that. 10 seconds again as the Shy. No teleport available. Dokla does have it with the Ram Jam available as well. So you can potentially pick that angle for NRG, but it's grasping at straws as Weibo have full vision control in this enemy side of the jungle. And that Dragon is as good as theirs to lead some Mountain Soul Pick'ems people into a happy place.
That it does.
I gotta say, Vedius, I'm one of the few people that picked Mountain, yeah.
I was Ocean, I think.
Wow, I think were you doing the worst?
Hey.
At some point.
I would say that I'm trying the best.
Okay, yeah, right. I mean, I'm the real fool for not picking Cloud in Korea, okay?
Yeah,
everyone knows it's Cloud's sole domain.
Yeah, who would pick Cloud?
Probably all the LCK cards.
Now, this is normally the part where I'd be like, here's how NRG can come back into the game.
Say it. There's always a way. Optimism.
I mean, Weibo would have to do something very Weibo, which I feel is quite unlikely at this point.
Yep. Maybe.
Just don't hesitate. You know that, like, they're not going to lose this game. You
Probably
look
not.
at I feel like I'm trying to get blood from a stone right now. You're like, I don't know, man. It's kind of like when I was casting the G2 game and you're like, surely, man. And I'm like,
I don't know. They're up there at the Nexus. You're like, oh, it's going to wait till it's over. But look, I mean, again, very different. I feel like Weibo as the 4th seed for a reason. However, to be realistic with your point, you know, again, up 9,000, they've got the whole map. We're talking to Dead Horse here about how Weibo are in control, but I want to point your attention towards the most obvious fact. It's been obvious all game long, thanks to Weiwei. Look at the bottom side of the map. 3 items versus 1 and a bit.
Yep.
That is a budget Winsu's Rage Blade that you know, picked off a side store down the road.
Yep. Light is 2 full levels over FBI as well. Palafox has been doing his best to keep up in experience, but the Shy now ticking over to level 16. That's going to be a max level ultimate as well.
Yep.
If NRG aren't squishy, he's going to make him look like it.
Oh, yeah.
Baron spawns in 35 seconds. They're going to get deep vision. They're going to push in these waves, and they're going to look to secure it. Likely they can do it with just Light and Weiwei. They can use Xiaohu. They can put him behind the wall, and with his range, he can chip away at it while he zones away the rest of NRG. They have so many tools, so many easy ways to play this. They've actually sent Xiaohu down bot to keep that pressure up. He has the TP to join the fight. A lot of options. All Weibo need to be is patient.
Yep. And just wait. But I also want to point out, you know, much to the success of this team, Crisp having a really good game to open up Swiss here. And his ward score is actually impressive. You know, 26 minutes into the game, 103. That is insane.
Yeah.
I know there's been a lot of wards to clear, but still, that's like every second of your life is spent to getting rid of these things stuck in the ground on Summoner's Rift.
Right now, NRG do have a bit of vision on this top side. They want to try and contest. Doklo has been sent to try and answer Xiaohu.
Well, they'll try at least. Soliflare lands. Oh, look at the equalizer. The carpet's laid down as the Fates call gets him out. Contract! Oh my, that's the flash. Palafox covered, but it didn't matter. That threat from long range is too much to bear as the Shy waits for them to reconvene.
It was literally just an ultimate from the Shy. You
Yep.
just single-handedly forced NRG back. And that will be the Baron. A dominant performance from the entirety of Weibo. And now with this Baron, they can look to end it right here, right now. Maybe they want to wait for the Dragon Soul. I really don't think they need to. With the gold lead they have, with the power that they have, I think they should just look to end it. And try and end NRG's suffering.
Yeah, because NRG not hitting expectations today, but at least trying to get towards this Baron to no success as Chris starts this off with a big solar flare.
So we see the ultimate come down. It applies the slow.
Yuck.
Followed up with the Shy's ultimate. And then Palafox box it, but Contracts, he reacts a little too quick. Doklo tries to look for a knockup, won't be able to find it. Weibo pressuring in bot lane. Using this wave, they should be able to crack the base open. Dragon in 35.
Well, this is the pick, though. They get the Shy's flash, call the Forge God. There's the Weaver's wall. Contracts not getting the shove back, though. The Shy will walk it out as Weibo like, all right, you want to go for our top laner. We're going to try and end the game. There's the equalizer to stop 3, 4 backs, really. Solar Flare as well. Another backstop. Hang on a minute. Weibo are just ending the game with the Baron up minions. The Shy's done his job. NRG are going to find a pick onto Chris, but as Doklo gets back, he's shattered as well. Ulti's a little early from Xiao, but Palafox gets burned down nonetheless. With their debut at Worlds, Weibo are tearing apart North America. Piece by piece by piece. Weibo in under 30 minutes are destroying the first seed of NA. I'm sorry to the LCS, but WBG might be the 4th seed, but they are here to play.
A dominant performance from Weibo from start to finish.
this. Energy versus TL, C9. Ooh, that's a good game. Gen G versus T1. Holy. I thought they weren't allowed to play each other. What the heck? Fnatic, GAM, and C9 LNG are the only non-regions. That's weird.